In this tutorial, we'll have a look at the project management capability within the Rhino app. Project management is part of a process, and the Rhino app is designed to manage the entire process from taking the first phone call from the client right through to invoicing for the work that you've carried out for the customer. So to help to demonstrate this, if we go in and we have a look at a contact, we'll select Brian Smith, and we can see that Brian doesn't have any estimates or jobs or appointments or notes. So let's go in and quickly do an estimate for Brian. So we add an estimate, and we're going to paint one of Brian's houses, and it's going to be 16 Windsor Avenue. Brian would like a detailed breakdown of the proposal. So instead of having to type in every single line on the estimate, you've got the concept of being able to flag an estimate as a favorite. So this means when I click on detail line item, it asks me if I want to reuse an estimate that I had done earlier. So I'm just going to click on yes, and it now prompts me with a list of all my favorite estimates. I've just got one, so I'm just going to click on this here, and the advantage here is that it automatically populates all of the detail lines. So this is really useful if you're a painter and you keep doing all the same steps, or if you're a plumber, or if you're doing an implementation on an IT project. There'll be a set series of steps. I just click on each of these and I can quickly edit the amounts. So I'm going to spend 12 hours preparing the services, and it's an older house, so maybe I'm going to spend extra time carrying out repairs on the surfaces, and then to apply the coats, I'm going to reduce that a little bit, say to 18 hours, and so on, and you get the drift. So we have 4 time entries here, and if we just click on this one here, this is paint and materials. So what I can do is I can flag this as an expense. Okay. So I've now got a combination of effort-based, and I've got a line entry here, or a budget line for expenses. If I click back, I can just do save. So the important thing about this is if you have jobs or projects enabled, at the bottom of an estimate you'll have a little button called Create Job. And if I click on this, it copies through all of the information, and it links it to the estimate, and that's quite useful. If you issued an estimate to do a piece of work, you could have potential several projects that would flow from that one estimate. In this particular case, we're happy with this, so I just click on, when I click on save, it's now asking me, do I want to flag the original estimate as one? And that's just doing a little bit of housekeeping and keeping it nice and tidy. So I'll just say yes. So I can now see on this project I've got 5 tasks, and the system has automatically transferred in the line items from the estimate in as tasks. And if I click on these, what I can do is I can edit. So it's got the number of units, this is the budgeted units, it's got the billing rate. I can now, if you're in a larger organization using roles, you could allocate this to a role. Alternatively, you could just select and allocate this to an employee, at which point, if I allocate this to myself, my demo user, and I can say what date I want it done by, say next Monday. I've now got this task, and you can go through each task and allocate it out to your team. This then flows through to the individual, so when they look at their diary, so I can see that I've got actions in here, but I've now got some tasks as well, and one of them is prepare the surfaces for Brian Smith, the customer. If I now go to log time, I can select the project, Brian Smith, I can select the task, and I was maybe preparing the services, and I spent 5 hours, and I could even enter in a little description. You don't have to. It's picked up my default role, and if I click on save and click back, I can now see my timesheets are starting to build up. And most importantly, if I go back into this job, if I have a look at Brian Smith, I can see there's no active estimates now, because that estimate that I created earlier has been flagged up as a win. But if I click on the jobs and click on edit, and if I drill into the tasks, I can now see that preparing the surfaces we'd budgeted 12 hours, and we've recorded 5 hours. That was just the timesheet I'd entered earlier. And this flows on into the invoicing, so there's additional tutorials for that, but it's a very easy way to take an estimate, flip it into a job, allocate the individual tasks out to the members of your team. You can see how much work has been recorded against each task, and then you can use the invoicing for billing the work in progress as you go along. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and we'll catch you on the next one.